Okay, so we've gotten to the point where it's time for us to create a new task, which will be really convenient because the last time we deleted one, we had to just go create one with by sending a post request directly. So now we can do this within the app, or at least hopefully soon we'll be able to. Okay, so what do we need to do? Well, first of all, it's looking for an add task button. So something that allows us to add a task. Now, I was sort of thinking about where I want to put the button. I think I want to add them into the same edit task buttons molecule that we have, just that all those buttons are together at the same time, and then we can have an if statement there for like displaying them. So what does that mean? Well, right now we're going to want an add task to be here. So currently we go to our nav bar. We have these task edit buttons, and we're just doing this if matches. So I'm going to want to send in to check to see, okay, if is logged in, I want to pass in, we're passing in the token here. I could clone the token. What if we just send a reference to the token? Update you to also send a reference in. And then go down here and just say, hey, we take in a stir. Okay, so that should make you happy, and that should now also make these buttons always show up. What happened? Oh, these didn't show up either. Ooh, do I need to like dereference to show like, okay, so if your is empty, so on a stir, do I not get is empty? Can I deref to get to the string out of it? No. Okay. What is going on? Can I console log? Want to goo console log. What is this token? Can I actually see it? Maybe we will have to clone it. Oh, we got a big error. Internal code entered unreachable code on line 34. Okay, so if is logged in with a reference to the token, I can't reach that. I mean, that's kind of okay, right? I want this. It entered here. Task edit. Oh, task edit buttons, line 34. That's what the problem is. Okay, hold on. Task edit buttons, line 34. We reach this. Because do we have more? We have these different routes now that it could be on. For example, if we're on home, we need to know, okay, that's a problem is these buttons now sort of assume that we have a task ID. So we need to like rewrite and reset all of these up. So that way we can pass in the task ID if they exist. So we're going to have our current route, which we have this right here. Okay, so I think that is working. I think you're working here. But the reason why we're erroring out is due to not having a task ID and reaching this unreachable state here. So we're gonna have to remove this, and now the task ID is gonna be a little bit odd. So let's start by saying, okay, if we're I want don't save. Come on, give me the rest of your. There it goes. Fill match arms. Thank you. Route home. So if we're at home, we're not going to have an ID at all. So task ID, this should probably now be an option. to sort of grab this out. So let's do a sum ID. You're going to be a sum ID. Now, if it's home, create account, or login. So in that case, what if we do a otherwise, you're a none. Okay, so now we do task ID is an option, U32. Okay, so then inside of here, at this point, we should be able to unwrap this task ID. So I want to grab task ID equals task ID dot unwrap. If that causes an error, we should be able to find out exactly why right now. So that's working there. And then here, I only want to display these buttons if we have a task ID. So if task ID is sum, then display these two. Still have an error. So we have, task ID. So if we have them, then I want you to be, let's just unwrap you. Because if we know that you are something, then we can safely do that. Okay, so now, okay, everything is loading. We don't have any of these buttons to use right now, but we're going to use this BB link. Let me just go ahead and copy it, and I'm going to put it at the end here. So we're going to have an add task. I'm going to name this add task. Our route, we don't have one yet, so I'm just going to put this as home because that's going to be a little bit simpler than this one. Link type button, that's going to be fine. So now we should have, there we go, add task comes up right here. Now, no matter where we are, add task is also in here. So we can just go straight to add task. Well, that takes us home right now. So we need an add task page for that to link to. Let's go ahead and fix that. So pages, new task.rs. Okay, well, it's been a while since we've had to create a brand new page. So we're going to use Yew prelude. Let's see, we're going to use the stylus component. Well, maybe we sort of like update that as we need it. Everything else might sort of like have the stylus things come with it. Let's not worry about that right now. We'll just do a functional component task. Now properties, do we need any properties coming in? I don't know if we do, because we have access to the token through the the UDoc store. We might be fine without one. Okay, so let's just start with an H1, and we'll just say add task here. Okay, and that means we need to go to our router and add in we'll just do now I can't just do like tasks, can I might be able to but I think I wanted to like do tasks add because I think that'll just make it it'll make a little bit more sense. Task, we'll add you in. Oh, we need to pull in the component. Let's create pages, add task, add task. Okay, that's good. And then finally, the task edit buttons. We're now going to say that you go to add task. So now, no matter where we are, if we click add task, it takes us to add task here. Excellent. Okay. Next up, what do we need to do to add a task? We're going to need a, well, title to begin with. So enter add task. Let's start building out our form. We have a form. Inside of there, we're going to have a div. And inside of that, we're going to use our text input. So use creates components, atoms, text input. Okay, so we're going to have text input and input type. Now for text input type, we do require that, okay? All right, so we're gonna have, starting out, bb text input. This one takes a lot here. So we have our data test. Data test is gonna be, I think, add task. Or is it gonna be title? I think it's gonna be title, but we'll find out. We need a label. So for the label here, this is going to be just title. Then a placeholder. What is it going to be like the, if I don't put a placeholder in, I think that's going to be exactly what the label is. So let's just call this like task title. Okay, then a class, if I want to like do any styling directly on the input, I don't need to, I don't think I need to. Input type. Okay, it's gonna be input type and text. Then on change. So we need an on change callback. So here we're gonna have a bunch of things. So we're gonna do this on title change. Now you're gonna come up with the new title. And we could just do the glue console log of the new title. Okay. And we're going to store you away in here. So on change equals title on change. And last up, the initial value we're starting as, which I don't want any at all. So that's just an option. That's just an option, so we don't have to put you in. How do you look? You don't look at all. Oh, don't see anything there. I don't see any errors though here either. So, oh, big error here. That's an issue. Probably need to close the tag. That would probably be helpful. There we go. Now we see, okay, our task title. So if I put in a new title here, new title gets added in. Okay, perfect. Now we're gonna want to know exactly what we're sending out when we submit this. So I'm thinking in the use state for all of these to sort of like set up for us. Let's do a let title equals a use state. Our initial function, let's do title is absolutely required, so I don't need to use an option. This will just be a string. I don't need to send that to. We're going to do a string new. That will give us a brand new empty string for this title. We have to clone you in here. So we're going to do the block trick. I want to call this, do I want to call it like title state? I don't know if I need to. I might just also just do that. Okay, so we're going to clone you into here. We're going to move you into our callback and set you inside of here. So we're going to do title dot set, and then you want to be the new title. Okay, so that's a title. Oh, apparently we don't need to, well, I don't need to clone this yet because I'm only using it one time here. But when we eventually send this along, that might be a different thing altogether because we're going to have a form submit where we need all of these things together. Okay, so we have a title. What else do we need? We need a description. So let's get these things together. So let description state. Now, I could have this a string new, and then we can like check to see if it's empty, but I think I might want to have this be an option with a string, with a new string in it. So it's gonna be an, oh, and I can't create like an option. So this is gonna be option, oh, it's gonna be a sum with this. Okay. We also have, I'm thinking that if we don't set the priority, it should probably be an A to begin with. Let priority equals, let's do a use state. And I'm thinking this will be a A. Okay. So title description priority completed at is null, so I don't need that at all. Priority description title. I think these might be the only things we need to create and have it appear right. Okay, so after title unchanged, we're gonna have a let description change. Okay, so here, it's going to be a string, but it's going to take a little while for it to know that. We're also going to want a move in here. So this can be the new description. I'm going to do a description set new description. Oh, come on. You can find it. Oh, it doesn't know that it's a string. Well, don't worry about that. You'll figure it out. Next up, we need use create components, atoms, text area. And to essentially copy this now, so div. Okay, put the text area in, close that off before I forget this time. And let's go find our text area. Okay, we need data test. You're going to be a probably just description. Then we have an optional value. I don't care to have one for that. And on change. Okay, so we have our on change. That's going to be the description on change. We have our label. It's going to be task description. And the text area requires an ID. Oh, right. Requires an ID, which we don't. I think we can just set this as like new task. Okay. Description on change. Is on change an option here? No, you're not. You're a callback. Description on change. Callback with an option string. What did I do here? So I have our description exists. Callback from move. New description is an option string. Oh, this coming in is an option string. So you need to be unwrapped. Interesting. So unwrap. Wait. Now you're fine? Wait. Now you're not fine? Okay, on change. Okay, so we know you should be a string. Oh, because you need to be an option string. Got it. Okay, so you are definitely a string. Got it. So you're going to be a sum. Here. I forgot that I did the script. Everything else is an option. Description. There we go. Apparently typing today is hard. That makes it easier. Okay. Creating types and then immediately forgetting which types I was using. That's why we use Rust, because it yells at us when I forget those things. Okay, so there's the description is in there. Next up, priority. So the priority is a drop down. So we have this BB select. We're going to have a vec of the select options, which is here. Okay. So easy enough. Go back to add task. Let's put these up here. So we'll do that priority options equals, it's going to be a new vec. There's only going to be 3 of them. So we need to pull these in too. So priority option. Can you find that? Oh, it's a select option. Select option. Do I have like a new? I do. Okay, so I can do a new. Okay, the value. What is the value going to be? It's probably A. Label A is selected true. Okay. one more. Okay, so we'll do URB, C, UR false. Okay. Then we can do test ID, label, options, unchanged. Okay, everything else should be fairly simple here, and we're gonna get our onChange is going to be the string, which is going to be the value inside of here. Okay, makes sense. Back to add task. So we have that. We have our priority. This is using A, so we know that A is the default here. So if it's not set, we'll just go ahead and set it to an A. Let priority change. Okay, so we get our state. I don't think we need anything else right now for this. We're just going to do our callback. Then we're going to get the new priority. That is going to be a string coming out, okay? We're going to set this one, which is also just going to be a string. So we're going to do priority, set, new priority. Okay, we got you, and now this. We also need select option, and I need the BB select. Okay, back to BB select. For props, we have data test. Data test equals, let's do priority. Then we have an ID, which is not optional. So we'll just do new priority. We have a label, which is label. What do we want to call it? Again, priority. Options. Okay. Options are going to be equal to, what do I call these? Priority options. And then onChange. Priority onChange. Okay. You're unhappy here. What's going on? Okay, so we have our new priority string. Oh, we do have to move. Forgot that. Okay, we're happy here. So we have our title, our desk description, our priority with A already selected. I think these are it, right? Because if I come here to like title completed, so I'm just gonna make a call. We cannot create an already completed task. I'm sorry, you can't do it. In which case, there's only 3 things. We are good to go. So now I need a add like a create task button. So we now need a button. So components, atoms, a BB button. I think the color, we don't need that. So now we're going to add you. BB button. Okay, so what do you need? Data test. So this is going to be, I think we're just going to call it submit. Label. Let's just call it create task. Okay, so we have an optional on click, which I do not need because we're going to use submit for the form with this one. And color, which is also option because we don't need that. So if I just create you, we should now have a submit button shortly. Of course, if I have, oh, can I find BB? I thought I brought that in. Oh, I forgot to finish the use. There we go. There we go. Now we have our create task button. We can, for all of these divs, give ourselves a little tiny bit of space with a little bit of styling in here. So we do need to switch this to a styled component, not a styled component impl, a styled component. There we go. There's that. Let's create a style sheet. Style sheet equals CSS. Are you not pulling this stuff in? Is that really part of styled component? I feel like I need to pull in CSS. Okay, what do we need to do? I guess this is perfectly fine. Okay, never mind. This is apparently just available to us. Okay, for a styled component, I want, we're gonna put this style sheet on the form, which means all the divs immediately underneath. So it's gonna be, I guess like every div at the first level, which I actually think that's really hard for me to select here. Let's create a section that has this class in it. And we'll indent this one more time here. Okay, so now should be easily able to select. Okay, so inside the form, and then one level in, all the divs. I want to have a margin top of maybe like 10 pixels. If I didn't have an error, styled component, expected value, found this macro. I want you to run. Okay, so you're a style source. Do I need... Styles you, seems to be fine. Stylist, CSS. You're a style source. I want class equals styled component. Also, we are in... Oh, not styled component. Style sheet. That makes you happy. There we are. Okay, so now we have a little bit of space between each of these. Okay, so we have our create task. Then we're going to have a function. So we're going to have a let. This is also going to require all the blocks and all the fun stuff. So this is going to be a on submit equals, we're going to do a block. We're going to need all the fun stuff. So we need title, description, and priority. Okay, so we create those. We're going to create our callback now. We do care about this event, which I always forget what the exact type is. So we can do the event dot prevent default. It'll be happy as soon as it knows what type it is. So I have an on submit, which is a focus event. There we go. That makes you happy now. Okay, so now we have access to the title, description, and priority. We need to, on this, we're gonna send an API call out, which does mean we need a wasm bindgen futures, spawn local, async move block here. Okay, so at this point, we now need to create, we now need to send in a post request to our server. Oh, we also need the token for this too. Let's let our token, so use store. We have a store type. Okay, so we have state, a map. Okay, so for this one, we're gonna get state.token.clone it, and an unwrap or default. Okay, so at this point in time, we now have our token. We move that into here. Token equals token dot clone. Okay, we have you. We're going to move that into here, which means we need to head over to the API and create a function for creating a task. Okay, so create task. Now, you're going to take in a token, which is a stir. We're also going to need to take in, I guess, like, so we need to take in the task. We can have it be like nulls. So like, just send in nuns for those. That would probably work. Or we could send in, there's the patch task. Now, patch task is a title, but these are options. That being said, we could reuse this because it will actually send the thing that we want to. We just wouldn't have a completed app. We'd just be sending in a description, a priority, and a title. I kind of like this. We might want to update the name, but I'll do that later. So we'll then have a, let's actually take in username. Sorry, the title, which is a string. So we need to take that. Could take in a stir, but I think just taking ownership of it is fine. Okay, so we need, oh, let's take in a stir. So we have a title, we have a description. Now description is going to take in an option. Why did I do that? An option with, it could be a stir in here. Stir. And a priority. Now a priority is, again, going to be just a stir. We're going to have a result. If we're good, we already know what those are, so we don't need to return anything here. I don't think we need to have the ID of this either. We do need to know what the ID is, don't we? So we need to know a task coming back what its ID is. Do I have a task? I think we do. Oh, it's one of these. Under store. We have a task here. That's the task that's coming back. Okay, so we have that task, and then we have an API error. Okay, that's a pretty large signature. Okay, so then here we have our async func. Before we create that, we have to create our patch task. So we'll call it the new task. We'll just do a patch task, new. Okay, so the title is going to be a sum title. As well turn it into what it needs to be, which is a string. Let's see, we have a sum that. Then we have our priority, which is, that's going to be a sum priority into, okay, and then the description. And this is where I might as well just make these strings because they need to be, okay, fine. You're all strings. Then I don't need these intos. Because I'm cloning them anyways, like clone them here or there. They're gonna get cloned. Okay, then finally, now the description can just be handed in exactly as is. Okay, so we create a new patch task. Oh, I'm missing one more, which is the completed at, which is a none. So that should be not even included in here. Right, you're upset because we need to actually return this thing. I'm gonna throw in a not a token, a to do. So it's not upset for a little while at least. Okay, we can use the serde serde JSON to string to serialize this. So then we're gonna do our, nope, not that. Let our request equals, okay, time to do this. Request. We're gonna send a post to reference format. We're gonna use the base URL / tasks, and that's it. Okay. After we send our post, we are going to send some headers. We need this XAuth token. Then we also need to tell it what kind of data is going to be sent into this, which is either going to be the content type. application JSON. You need to be a stir, so that's why passing a stir is actually good. For this one, okay. Header, we have now our body, which is going to be a Serde JSON toString of the new task. You need to be a reference to the new task, and we're going to unwrap you. Okay. Now we're going to await. And then unwrap. Why are you upset? Oh, send. So then we send. Then we await. Then we unwrap. Okay, so at this point in time, we have a response that's sort of like in progress, and we haven't gotten the data from that yet. So I now want to test to make sure that it's not one of these errors, which we kind of have this here. I'll just copy you. There might be a better way for us to like handle this by like maybe having, yeah, but like there's unique stuff we need to do in this else here. So I haven't really decided how we want to handle like this duplicate code, or if we want to just like state like, well, maybe it's not really duplicate code. It just happens to be the same right now, but it could all be different depending upon what happens. Or we potentially throw this into a function as the if else maybe. And it figures out what to return. That might be better. So here it's a 401, we get authenticated if the request is okay. So, all right, if the request is okay, we want to extract out the body. So at this point in time, we now want to say, we want to take this request dot JSON. Okay, so extract the JSON out. We await that. And I think we have to unwrap you. We have to tell it what it's extracting into. So in this case, you're extracting into a task. We unwrap. And I think that's our return. So that should be fine. Okay, that's our create task here. Head back to add task, and inside of here, we're going to use it. So created task equals API create task. Okay, so we want a reference to the token. We want the title. So the title is going to be, we're going to take you, we're going to deref, and then clone. And we want to do that for all of these. But I guess it's not going to be as simple. For the description, we want, well, actually deref clone might work because it's an option. We need to pull in import deref. Okay, you're happy here. We have an async move. You are, let's see, that's implementing. Okay, so when it's saying fn1, so we have a move in there. It moves the variable title out of its environment. Title here, so I clone the title in. That comes in here. Oh, okay, so we also need to do this trick here. So we do title equals title.clone. You know what? We might as well extract the title out here. So I want to do title.deref.clone first. Then I can just use you here. All right, that's happy. Next up, description. Well, okay, so description. Now you're a, so if I deref, I think it's going to be the same thing. And priority. Okay, so created task. So we get API create task. We do, oh, nope, I need to actually close that. We await, and then we can just unwrap you right now. But in reality, we probably don't want to. We probably want to check to see what this is. So probably want to match you. So match, we await, we don't unwrap. Now, come on, you won't let me? Okay, fill match arms from there. Okay, so if you're okay, I want to take in the task that's created and return it. If you're not okay, we're gonna get this API error. And then we want to handle this. So if it's a not authenticated, oh man. Okay, if it's not authenticated, sorry, I got a text message really quickly of my front yard. It's an interesting state, but everything's okay. So we're continuing on. Error. Task. Okay, error. API error. Okay, so we could. Oh, no, you know what? We can use the match thing. So if you're an error with an API error, not authenticated, then I want to, what do we want to do? We want to use a history and push, and we're going to just go back home. So inside of here, we're going to grab history. History equals use history. We need a route, which we do not have here. Okay, so we get our history. We're going to move that into, oh, I also need that here. All right, rather, I need it down here, and then we can clone it. History equals history clone. Okay, so now you're going to be available inside the Wasm Bindgens features this block. Okay, now you go into here. Okay, so then we do a history.push. We want route. Let's go to home. Now, if you're any other type of error, so I guess we could just be error. We want to panic and find out exactly what this is. So let's go ahead and do a glue console error. Let's put in the error. Can I do toString on it? It says that I can. So I can do toString, and then I want to just I guess panic. Okay. Now, this is all part of getting this created task. So you're a semicolon. Oh, you're a semicolon also. Am I missing one of these? Okay, so you are... You're that one. Okay, so that's that one. This is where I need a semicolon. Maybe? And you don't want the one there. There we go. Now we're happy. History push. Metro arms have incompatible types. Okay, so then... Oh, create task. So not authenticated. I want to push to go to home. What do I want to do here? So like that one's actually returning the task. I could do everything else inside of here. So instead of returning, this might make more sense. We're gonna say, okay, we match on this. If we're okay, we go home if we're not authenticated. If we have any other error, we panic. But if we have our task, we want to now add this task into Yew. So back into the store. So we have a set task, but we need to do an add task. Hub function add task. We'll take in the dispatch and a new task, which is a tape task. Okay, dispatch, reduce, store. We are going to need to move. Okay, dispatch. Wait, no, we already have that. We already have that. Now we want to say store.tasks. We're going to push in this task. Okay, should be simple enough for this. Okay, so add task. Back into here, I want to, no, mod, you're upset now. What are you upset about? Mismatch types, expected, nothing, found, stored task. Wait, so if a request is okay, I want to return, I want to return an okay of that. If you're not okay, else, match request, I want to return error, that should be fine. Oh, and no to do. It's nice that it yells at us about forgetting the to do, or forgetting to remove the to do, really. Okay, so now you're upset because incompatible types. Right. Is that because I'm returning here? Expected store task, found nothing. Right. I think it's because I have to save here, and then we're okay. All right, we are passing now. So before we go and try it, let's now call. We need to get our dispatch. So callback from, okay, so right here. Dispatch equals use store dispatch clone you. We'll clone you into here too. Then, okay, that will move into here. We should now be able to tell it to add the task from the store. Okay, pass it dispatch, pass it this new task, and we're good to go. So either this is going to work out great or we're going to get a big error. We have no compile problems, so this seems to be okay. Let's go ahead and we'll say new task. This is a new task. Priority A is going to be fine. Let's see if it creates it as a priority A. No, big error. Okay. What happened here? Panicked at, called a result, unwrap. Missing field ID. Okay, so whatever we got, we did not get an ID back. Here's my post. Response. Oh, look at that. We got there's a data inside, and then the ID is inside of that. Okay, so we're really close. So we actually have inside of our store. Here's our task. Pubstruct task. Isn't there like a task? Oh, it's part of the API. Part of the API, like a task response. That's what we're getting. Okay, hold on. Back to mod API. You're not a, here's our JSON. You're not a task. You're a task response. That wraps it with that data. So then you, okay. You getting back to here is a task response. Task response here. Then add task. We get a task response here. And we're just going to take in this task response and grab the data out of it and pass that into add task. Oh, but it's okay, never mind. Oh man. A task response is not exactly what we want. We want, where's that task response here? It's this vec task. So I need to update you to be let's do a derive, serialize, deserialize, struct. Okay, this is going to be like a single task response. And that's just a task. Okay, that's what I want to do. And then update, you are a single task response. Come back to add task. We get task response is a single task response. We extract data out of that. Let's see if you're any happier this time around. So refresh. Okay, another new task. Yes, this is another description. Priority, let's make this one a B this time and create task. I didn't get an error. Network-wise, we sent out all the data, so description, priority, and title. So that looks right. Response, we got, okay, that got thrown in there. I see data object ID. So that seemed to work. I didn't see an error. Did we forget? It looks like after we did this, this here, we also need to do another history push. To go home. So yet another task again. Ah, well, fine. It refreshed after I fixed it. So again, new task. Again, let's actually create one without a description, and we'll go with C on this one. So create task. Here we go. We have new task, another new task, and again, new task. So we have all of these now available to us. Okay, great. Let us head back to Cypress and see if we can get any farther. Let's see if we can get this creating task. Should be able to create a new task test passed. It'll test everything else first, but hopefully it's all good. Okay. So finally running into a new error here, which is, I mean, it's technically part of this, but it's looking for the priority on this page right here. So we can see we have a section for priority and we have a section for completed, but it doesn't exist here yet. So we're gonna have to take care of that next time, where we're actually now using using our data table and actually filling out priority and completed for the home page. As I mentioned though, that will have to be in the next video because I've run out of time for today. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you then. Bye.